Xi Jinping announced his Belt and Road Initiative in 2013, and since then it has grown substantially. Now, there are 149 member countries in which China is involved with the financing and construction of large infrastructure projects. According to the World Bank, the value of projects in all sectors that are already executed, in implementation, or planned are estimated to amount to 575 billion US dollars. The name Belt and Road references the Silk Road, a corridor of exchange connecting China to the West, where goods were transported iteratively by merchants. The Silk Road of old created massive trade capitals like Samarkand and Tehran, and while Xi's Belt and Road Initiative is expressly for the development of foreign infrastructure, specifically for logistics and trade, it has also given birth to a new merchant class, Chinese entrepreneurs that make a living selling wares along Xi Jinping's new Silk Road. These small business owners and entrepreneurs are an often ignored element of China's presence abroad. They are not affiliated with China's massive state loans or infrastructure projects and have traveled abroad of their own accord to capture the markets and countries participating in the Belt and Road Initiative. Many open shops selling consumer goods marked with the famous inscription, Made in China. A keynote of this trade network exists in Dubai, a city-state almost entirely predicated on markets and the exchange of commodities. On the outskirts of Dubai is Dragon Mart, a massive mall complex composed of highly specialized storefronts. Their wares are for sale, but also serve as a catalog for wholesale buyers to ship and retail. Dubai seems mostly unchanged by its position on this newfound Silk Road. As a state that presents a liberalized version of Islam and a state that has historically had a low tax rate, Dubai's souks have evolved into megamalls. Dragon Mart, as a node on the new Silk Road, merely found a space, with low taxes, to do trade. Further away from China is one of the last stopping points on the new Silk Road. Here in Douala, a port city of Cameroon, Chinese entrepreneurs have started opening shop on the Boulevard du President Amadou Ahidjo, creating what Cameroonians call a marché chinois, or Chinese market. The Chinese living in Cameroon call it their Tangrenjie, or Chinatown. Here, there exists another version of the specialized storefronts of Dubai's Dragon Mart. Unlike Dubai, where everything is clean or even sanitized, the Marché Chinois is bustling and gritty and right next to one of Douala's main bus stations. Cameroonians take buses from all over the country to buy goods and bring them back to their hometowns or villages. This is likely the last leg of the Silk Road. Douala in Cameroon is just one example of such a market. They are popping up throughout the whole world. Matt Ridley's 2010 book, The Rational Optimist, suggests that trade and the power of markets increases geopolitical stability, quality of life, and healthcare. It's likely, though, when he wrote the book, he envisioned America as the world's leading mercantile force, not China. In fact, Ridley uses China's rapid development as an example of how quality of life increases with freer markets, but never references China's role in creating new markets abroad. So how has this unseen Silk Road shaped modernity? It has opened markets to China's consumer products. These markets are often situated in countries rich in the natural resources essential to China's continued rapid development. Cameroon, for example, is rich in lumber and oil. Many agree with Ridley's precepts and argue that this is an equal trade that allows for less developed countries to develop their heavy industries while the populace can have access to cheap consumer goods that raise the quality of life. Others believe that the cheap consumer goods from China are crippling and crowding out developing industries in these countries. And furthermore, China's massive loans that fund their infrastructure projects effectively trap developing countries in a debt cycle. While I was visiting Douala, which felt like a normal bustling city, albeit underdeveloped, Cameroon was actually mired in a war for independence initiated by the country's minority Anglophone population that mainly lives in the north of the country. The war had been going on for almost 6 years, with no end in sight. Cameroon's president, Paul Biya, has been criticized for not being willing to negotiate with the Anglophone separatists. China's Silk Road seems to have done little to create peace in Cameroon. In fact, the trade it facilitates seems to have bolstered Biya's Francophone government to feel like it can continue to sustain this civil war indefinitely. While Douala may have become more developed with the help of Xi's Silk Road, Cameroon certainly seems to disprove the market's power to create peace.